Peace and welcome to part 2 of the top 20 ending themes. Today we will cover 10 through 1. The same rules apply, so with no further delay, our top 10 ending themes. Number 10, Super Metroid. To me, this is what victory sounds like. This is a triumphant beat, and that is one thing I like in an ending theme. I'm not saying it's the only thing because there are many ways end themes can go. But if you choose to go with a victorious style anthem, then I'm all for it. Especially when it's this good. Arranged and composed by Minako Hamano, with help on the composition from Kenji Yamamoto, and that's not the Dragon Ball composer. Super Metroid is the second game she composed for after being employed by Nintendo, the first being Zelda Link's Awakening for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Since then, she has worked on other Metroid games including Metroid Fusion in 2002, Metroid Zero Mission in 2004, and Metroid Prime 3 Corruption in 2007. Number 9, Chrono Trigger. Our ninth spot is held by Yasunori Mitsuda, who is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated composers in gaming. His range is vast. He can compose a deep, heartfelt theme, or he can do an epic anthem. And this one kind of has a little bit of everything. It's not the longest track he has done, it clocks in at less than 6 minutes. But with what the composer did during those 6 minutes is why it makes it into our top 10. The soundtrack to Chrono Trigger was the very first one that he worked on. He definitely got off on the right foot. Some composers don't accomplish a soundtrack that good in their entire career, while he started off with it. In an interview found online, Mitsuda said he sometimes comes up with songs while he sleeps, including the ending theme to Chrono Trigger. If this theme has a dream sequence feel to you, now you know why. Number 8, Ukulele. Once you beat the game, you are rewarded with this satisfying gem. This theme has a joyful feeling, its happy-go-lucky nature fits the game, and I really enjoyed both the game and this theme. Ukulele is a spiritual successor to the Banjo-Kazooie series, so if you like that, this might be a good game for you. This particular theme was arranged and composed by David Wise, who many people may know because of his work on Battletoads, Wizards and Warriors, and of course, the Donkey Kong Country series. Some of the other themes on the Ukulele soundtrack were composed by Grant Kirkhope, who is known for GoldenEye 007, Donkey Kong 64, and of course Banjo-Kazooie. And there is a third composer, Steve Burke, who has worked quite often with Mr. Wise and Mr. Kirkhope. As far as I can tell, this was the last video game soundtrack he composed for, so at least he went out on top. Number 7, The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. So I'm sure it's no surprise that Zelda is on the list, but it might be a surprise this time that it's not Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past. But the ending theme to Twilight Princess has a little bit of everything. You can even hear some of the early Zelda music mixed in there at times. The quality of the soundtrack rivals any other Zelda. It's orchestrated so you will hear more than just some chiptunes, and they make use of it. It's crisp, it's clear, and it's an easy listen. It's a lengthy theme, clocking in at over 10 minutes, and it deserves every second. Number 6, Super Mario World. In at number 6 is a theme that just screams Mario. Everything about the theme has that fun, bouncy Nintendo style. When I hear it, I can't help but think of a barbershop quartet, and yet there isn't even a single word in the theme, while a quartet would be the exact opposite and have nothing but vocals. Something about it feels like an old school, carefree theme from simpler times. It's a satisfying little theme that gives the player a sense of accomplishment and enjoyment. A perfect fit for a fun, simple little game. Number 5, Ninja Gaiden. A theme that doubles as a stage theme in the middle of the game. It just has a certain amount of action that kept it high on our list. It's not your average endgame theme. Most don't have this much action packed into a theme that's only a couple minutes long. I know the Ninja Gaiden trilogy isn't the most critically acclaimed game. It does have some issues and some differences to the NES version that gave it a drastically different feel. Not always in a good way. But I do gotta say, one good thing about the Super Nintendo version, some of those themes sound really good in 16-bit. And I must add, this staff roll theme is one of those themes that made the jump to 16-bit and did it well. Number 4, Double Dragon 2. So this one came down to a very close decision. We almost went with Ninja Gaiden in spot number 4 and Double Dragon as number 5. However, the more we thought about it and talked about it, this Double Dragon 2 theme seems to be a better ending. It has a very nostalgic feel, and it feels like the journey was completed successfully. You can now resume the rest of your life. While the Ninja Gaiden one is action-packed and kind of feels like the journey is in mid-mission. For an action-packed theme, we would go with Ninja Gaiden. But for an ending theme, this Double Dragon one has a sense of closure. It feels right for the end of a journey. And it sounds really good when you listen to the Genesis version. It's one of those times I would recommend the Sega version over both the arcade and the NES versions. It kind of doesn't even really sound like a Genesis. They did a great job covering up some of that twang that can infect some otherwise great soundtracks on the console. Number 3, Rogue Legacy. So I gotta start off by saying, I think this is a criminally underrated soundtrack. It has a little bit of everything. It has some chiptune, so you get that old school bleeps and bloops feeling, but then it also has some CD quality instruments. And in my opinion, it's a perfect blend. The first time I turned on this game, the music immediately caught my attention. It was one of those times where I just set the controller down and let the music play. This ending theme was composed by Gordon McGladdery, who goes by his stage name, A Shell in the Pit. And while looking him up, I actually found a Bandcamp page that has a remix album of the Rogue Legacy soundtrack. So if you want to talk about a pleasant surprise, that's one right there. I will include a link to the Bandcamp page so you guys can check out the Rogue Legacy Reborn remix album. Number 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. As much as we love the Sonic 1 and 2 soundtracks, the staff roll themes are compilations of the stage themes all mixed together to create one big theme. And as cool as that is, we went with Sonic 3 because it's an original tune, minus the fact it sounds like Michael Jackson's Stranger in Moscow. MJ did help on the soundtrack, he just wanted his name taken off because he didn't like the sound of the final product. But it seems like he at least liked this melody, otherwise he wouldn't have wanted it on his album. And if it's good enough for MJ, well then it's good enough for us too. And now, some honorable mentions. Number 1. Tenchu, Stealth Assassins. Sometimes these lists are a little bit difficult for a reason that one may not even think about. While searching and listening to these themes, do you know how hard it is to cut them off just to go search for another? Sometimes I feel the need to let them play all the way through. This is one of my all-time favorite themes. It has everything I want in not only an ending theme, but basically any theme. It just happens to really shine as the end credits. The use of CD quality audio makes it sound clear as day. The theme itself is somber with a hint of victory. I have tried to stay spoiler free in this episode considering these are all ending themes, so I will just say this. This theme is perfection in audio format. Not only did the game blow my mind, but the soundtrack did too. So there are our top 20 ending themes. There were some fantastic submissions, so thanks to everyone who commented. We listened to each one, and that's one reason why we like to do these lists. We know we haven't heard every theme, so this gives us a chance to hear some of the best of the best. Some that we may have slept on, or some that we just missed altogether. Up next, we will be doing the top 10 stage select themes. Not character select because that was previously covered, but any game where you can choose in which order you play the stages. Last but not least, shout out to gold level patron Bearsona11. I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.